Imagine this. You're home alone. The house is quiet and you're just starting to relax, when suddenly something goes bump in the night, but it's not a sound from the wind or a creaky floorboard. Something or someone is in your home. Terrifying, right? But what if I told you these are true stories? Real accounts of people who were home alone and had terrifying experiences that still haunt them to this day. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, comment below if you've ever had a creepy experience while home alone, and subscribe to True Nightmares so you never miss a terrifying tale. Our first story is about a woman named Emily. She had always dreamed of getting away from the hustle and bustle of the city, so she decided to spend a weekend at her cabin in the woods, all alone. The idea of peace and solitude in the middle of nature was exactly what she needed. At first, everything was perfect. The air was fresh, the trees swayed gently in the breeze, and Emily was enjoying the quiet. But as the sun set and darkness took over, something started to feel off. It was just a small nagging feeling at first, like she wasn't quite as alone as she thought. Emily brushed it off, telling herself it was probably just her imagination. But then, in the middle of the night, it happened. She was lying in bed trying to fall asleep when she suddenly heard it. Thump, thump, thump. The sound of footsteps, slow, steady, too deliberate to be just the house settling. Emily froze. Her heart raced. She tried to tell herself it was nothing, maybe just the wind, but the footsteps were real. They were getting closer, coming down the hallway toward her bedroom. Terrified, she peeked outside the door, but there was no one there, just darkness. But then something caught her eye, a shadow. It wasn't like a normal shadow. It moved along the walls, shifting in a way that didn't make sense. Emily blinked, thinking her mind was playing tricks on her, but no. The shadow was still there, moving slowly, like it was following the path of the hallway. She waited, her breath caught in her chest, but no one ever appeared. Emily didn't sleep a wink that night. The feeling of being watched stayed with her, and the shadow seemed to linger in the back of her mind long after she left the cabin. To this day, she says she still doesn't feel safe there. So, what do you think? Was that shadow just a trick of the light, or something more sinister? A figment of Emily's imagination, or something darker lurking in the cabin with her? The answer might never be known. Next, let me tell you about Jason. He was living in a quiet suburban neighborhood, far from the hustle and bustle of the city. One evening, Jason was just sitting on his couch watching TV when his phone rang. It was an unknown number, but when he looked at the screen, he saw something strange. The call was coming from his own number. Confused, Jason answered the phone, thinking it might be some sort of mistake. But when he picked up, all he heard was heavy breathing, slowly and deeply, like someone was right there, breathing into the phone. Jason's heart started racing. Was it a prank? He didn't know, but he didn't want to freak himself out, so he just hung up and tried to forget about it. But the weirdness didn't stop there. Later that night, while Jason was still in his living room, he heard something. A soft, faint sound that made his blood run cold, a door creaking open. The sound came from his bedroom, the closet. His heart skipped a beat. Was someone in his house? Slowly he stood up and walked to the bedroom, his mind racing. But when he opened the closet door, it was empty. Nothing there, no one. Just a dark, silent closet. Relieved, but still shaken, Jason turned around to leave. That's when his phone rang again. This time, it wasn't a call. It was a text from his own phone. The message simply read, "I'm in the closet." Jason froze. He couldn't explain it. Who was sending these messages? How was it even possible for someone to be in his closet when he had just checked? He couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching him. To this day, Jason is terrified of answering unknown calls, always wondering if the voice on the other end is someone or something lurking in the dark, waiting to make its move. But the big question remains, who or what was in Jason's closet that night? Our final story is about Mark, who was living alone in an old, creaky house. It was the kind of house with history, the kind that felt like it had secrets hiding in its walls. One evening, as Mark was settling in for the night, he heard a knock at the door. It was late, much later than anyone would normally stop by. Immediately, Mark felt suspicious. Who could possibly be at his door at this hour? He went to the peephole, expecting to see something unusual, but there was no one. Nothing but the dark, empty porch. Mark thought maybe it was a prank, or perhaps he had imagined it, but curiosity got the better of him and he decided to open the door, just a crack. That's when things took a terrifying turn. From the darkness outside, a low, eerie voice whispered, "I'm here to take what's mine." Mark's blood ran cold. Without thinking, he slammed the door shut and bolted it. His heart was pounding as he quickly called the police. When the officers arrived, they searched the area, but there was no sign of anyone. No footprints, no strange cars, nothing. It was as if the man had vanished into thin air. Mark didn't sleep a wink that night. In fact, he couldn't sleep for days after that. He kept wondering what had really happened. The worst part? Mark later found out that the house he was living in had a dark past. The previous owner had mysteriously disappeared, and rumours had always floated around that he had an unhealthy obsession with the property. Was it just a prank? Or had Mark unknowingly come face to face with the spirit of the house's former owner? The truth remains a mystery, but Mark's fear is very real. 3 creepy true stories, 3 terrifying experiences of people home alone, each one more unsettling than the last. What do you think? Were these just freaky coincidences, or were these people truly haunted by something sinister? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to True Nightmares, where we uncover the chilling tales that will make you think twice before staying home alone ever again.